thought it would be easier talking about leaving MAGA as a 3-time Trump voter than it is, but some of y'all are really mean. And I get this was me this time last year, but that doesn't matter. Because again, my feelings matter. Years never mattered. The level of hate I'm getting is unreal. People telling me to have accountability, to put the work into my community instead of coming on the internet and crying for myself. Like, you just don't get it. So much for the tolerant left. You guys are exactly how the right describes you. Like, how do you not get that this shit is hard?
I voted for him, yes. But the quicker that you people welcome ex-MAGAs like myself, the more that MAGA is going to be willing to leave. The fact that you guys throw so much hate at ex-MAGA truly makes us not want to leave the cult.
To forgive or not forgive? That is the question. So, should we? Personally, I would not. Not yet. Not for a long time.
I have seen at least 3 or 4 videos like that in my FYP the last freaking hour. And to me, it's ridiculous because if you want to leave a cult, if you want to leave anything, you're doing it for yourself and nobody else. You don't need somebody to welcome you. Plus, leaving the cult and unlearning the things that made you think it was okay to be in the cult and support the person that you were supporting are 2 totally different things. Yeah, you can leave because you didn't like that AI picture he posted, or because you don't like the way he's acting right now, or you can leave because you know that he's racist, he's a pedophile, he's all these things, and you don't agree with them. But you could have left the cult and still support all those things elsewhere. You have not done the work to unlearn what it is that made you think it was okay for him to be president and to act this way in the first place. So please miss me with the, oh, you gotta welcome ex-MAGA. No, nobody has to do anything. What you have to do if you truly want to make a change is change yourself and talk to those around you who also think the way you do. And explain to them why they're also wrong. Maybe they'll listen to you.
Let me make something very clear. The reason a lot of people don't have empathy for the I Left MAGA crowd is because y'all are still trying to rewrite the story. And guess what? We're not buying it. You want people to believe you voted for cheaper groceries, better jobs, tax breaks. No, you didn't vote for policies. You voted for a feeling. And let me say the part people dance around. You weren't tricked. You agreed. You agreed with the tone. You agreed with the direction. You agreed until it started affecting you. And that's the part people don't want to say out loud, because now it's, he lied. We didn't know. We were misled. No, people told you over and over again what this was. Not quietly, not subtly, but out loud and in your face. And every time you dismissed it. Things like, he's not serious, he's just talking, or it won't actually happen.
He is so on point. You don't get to ask for grace after you did not extend it to others. People are still living with the consequences of your choices. People have been deeply hurt. Some, their lives have been ruined, and some have lost their lives. So your awakening does not erase your impact, So let's have a look.
Trump was my choice, and now it's my biggest regret. I regret helping put him back in power. At the time, I believed the promises. I believed he stood for us. But looking at it now, it feels like a betrayal. I'll be tormented for a long time by the fact that I played a role in getting Trump elected. And I want to say that I'm sorry for misleading people. That's the hardest part. Feeling like we were needed for votes, but not valued after. He speaks about strength, loyalty, and putting the country first. But when you really pay attention, it's obvious who comes first. His own interests, his image, and his alliances beyond our borders. Meanwhile, those of us who believed in him, who showed up, who voted, we're the ones left dealing with the fallout. I'm done pretending otherwise. Supporting him was a mistake, and I know more people are starting to come to the same conclusion. Because while ordinary Americans are struggling, rents rising, food prices climbing, healthcare becoming harder to afford, our tax money keeps flowing overseas. Billions spent on foreign conflicts while families here are just trying to stay afloat. That's not America first. That feels like America being left behind.
You're not a victim. Toughen up. Whatever you're feeling right now, you played a hand in. But it's the same mentality that caused you to vote for that man in the first place. because it was so much easier to blame marginalized communities for your problems than to look at yourself. Look at the people that are actually at fault and hold them accountable. Hold yourself accountable. It was easier to blame trans people, Black people, migrants. And I know there's going to be people in my comments saying, well, we have to welcome them. How are we going to move past this if we don't work together? That's fair. That's fair. I don't have to work with them. I don't have time to sit there and coddle them and hold their hand because there are people that are actual victims of their doing. I got to worry about them. That's number one. Number two, I have to see these people doing the actual work within their communities and with people that they harmed. I have to see that they wouldn't turn around and vote for JD Vance or whoever the Republican nominee is in 2028. I have to see them actually hold themselves accountable. Quit with this, it was brainwashed. I didn't know. You knew. You knew. I will never let that go. You knew. You were just okay with it because you thought it was going to benefit you. And I've said this before. I'd rather have them come on here and say, I thought that by harming other people, my life was going to be better. The economy was more important than basic human rights. By the way, we weren't arguing policy with these people. We were arguing about basic human decency and basic human rights. I can have policy discussions all day long, but when you want to take rights and dignity away from other people, the conversation stops. And until I see them actually taking these steps, then I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to babysit them. So instead of coming on TikTok and yapping, blaming others, trying to tell us what we should be doing or how we should be acting, you should be learning. You should be taking accountability. You should be in therapy, if I'm being completely honest.
So let me give you another line you might not like. You didn't leave MAGA. MAGA stopped working for you. That's why this feels different now. Not because something new was revealed, but because now it's uncomfortable. Now it's hitting closer to home, and now you're feeling it. And suddenly you want grace. You want understanding. You want people to separate you from it. But that's not how this works. You don't get to help build something, defend it, excuse it, normalize it, and then step away from it like it had nothing to do with you the second it stops benefiting you. That's not growth. That's convenience. Real growth sounds like I saw it, I ignored it, but I chose it anyway. Until that level of honesty shows up, people are going to keep looking at you sideways. Because this was never just about one man. It was about what people were willing to stand next to as long as they thought it wouldn't cost them anything. And now that it does, now we're supposed to clap because you're leaving? Not gonna happen. This isn't about punishing people forever, but it is about this. You don't get immediate trust. You don't get automatic redemption. And you definitely don't get to pretend you had nothing to do with it. You weren't fooled. You made a choice. And now you've got to own it.
I'm leaving MAGA. Why I'm leaving MAGA. I regret my vote. You don't actually regret your vote. You just regret that your vote is now negatively affecting you. You knew that your vote was going to negatively affect some people, and you didn't care then because there's a little bit of a bait and switch with Trump, right? A little bit being, I would say, egg prices and food costs. But aside from that, he's doing everything he said he was going to do. You just didn't think it was going to affect you. But you were okay with it affecting everybody else. Didn't care that he was a convicted felon because it didn't affect you. And it's wild to think that you would think this man wouldn't lie to you, even though he's a convicted felon. That's crazy. And you also didn't seem to care that he was obviously not qualified for the job anymore. And like, listen, I'm glad that you regret who you voted for. You should regret it. But I also think it's really important to do just like a little bit of inner work and ask yourself why you didn't care before. This awful feeling that you're feeling now, your livelihood being affected, how awful that feels, and watching other people that it hasn't affected yet, because it will. Them not caring that you're affected. The thing is, we tried to warn you. We tried. Hopefully we get to have another vote. Who knows? It seems as though our government is slowly falling apart, so we may not. Important to remember that Billionaires do not have your best interests in mind. They have never and will never have your best interests in mind.
Listen, as a Trump supporter, I can excuse constant lying, constant misinformation, poor business practice, mockery and degradation of immigrants, people of color, the disabled, women, children, trans people, political opponents, and even MAGA zone supporters. I can excuse failed campaign promises, mishandling of the U.S. economy, insider trading, stock market manipulation, tax increases, irrational behavior as a head of state, instigating international conflicts, bombing places and people with little to no reasoning, kidnapping foreign heads of state, starting a war, backing Israel in said war, backing Russia overall, abandoning U.S. allies, pardoning criminals domestically and abroad, loosely using the term terrorist to justify horrific acts, senile behavior with an on and offline presence, sexual assault of women and children, being in the Epstein files, hiding the Epstein files, erasing the Epstein files, lying about the Epstein files, starting a war to prevent people from talking about the Epstein files, downplaying the severity of the Epstein files, talking about staying in office longer than allowed, violating and / ignoring checks and balances, and ordering his own personal military to target, shoot, and deport his own citizens. But I draw the line at depicting himself as Jesus Christ in an AI image.
Oh, another Trump regret post. Let's read it. In 2016, I truly believed Trump was anointed and appointed by God for such a time as this. Now I realize why women should never be pastors or leaders with any kind of spiritual authority in the church. Girl, to get so close and be so far away. Like, imagine you finally have the self-reflection. How could I have voted for someone like Trump? Could it be the patriarchy or all the men that told me that God was anointed and appointed by God and still say that? Could it be that I was racist and that I enjoyed hating marginalized people? Am I starting my period? That must be it.
Many Trump voters don't realize that the damage has been done. Families have been separated. Communities are living in fear, Some have lost their loved ones, stability, safety, and dignity. So when they come out asking for grace and forgiveness, there is a disconnect because people are still grieving and trying to rebuild what was broken. It's easy to regret when it starts affecting you, when groceries are high, when jobs disappear, when policies you cheered for finally hit your home. But for many people, the pain did just start, It's been there, it's been real, it's been ongoing. So when someone is hurting deeply, they are going through stages: anger, sadness, and confusion. And sometimes they need a place to place that anger. And that doesn't make them bitter. That makes them human. You don't get to rush their healing just because you've reached your awakening. Forgiveness is not something you demand. It is something that comes naturally with time, with consistent action, and with real change. And that's a part that many people are still missing because this moment, it should be about saying sorry. It should be about transformation. If you truly regret your vote, then show it with actions, not just words. Speak up when others are being targeted. Advocate for policies that protect everybody and not just that benefits you. Listen to the people that are being hurt without getting defensive or without trying to center yourself in the pain. Deconstruction is not comfortable. It requires you to sit with the reality of the choices that contributed to it. It means unlearning harmful beliefs. It means asking hard questions like, why did I support this in the first place, Who did I hurt? And what am I going to do differently moving forward? Because growth without accountability is just performance. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.